Hi guys, I'm Mette and I'm back with another video, and today I'm here to do a library haul. I haven't done one of these in a while because I haven't been to the library since August, I think. And I think it was a good thing. I had to get some of my own books read a little bit, and I still have to read a lot of my own books. But I couldn't resist going to the library also because I had to get a specific book because it's going to be part of my December TBR. Even if I didn't need the physical book for the way that I'm reading it, I decided to go with it. Because that's what I did with the other books in the series. But anyway, the book that I'm talking about is Den Forkerte Død med Kenneth Andersen, The Wrongful Death. I think that's the English title. It is going to be translated soon. I've just seen Kenneth talk about that on Instagram. And the first two books in the series have already been translated, so if you're interested, you should definitely consider checking it out. They're pretty cheap on Kindle, and recently that he had you were able to get it for free, and I was like, to those people I know that have been interested in reading it, I was just like, hey, just look at this, it's free on Kindle. And I hope that they will enjoy it, because now that I've sort of thrown this at them, get them to read it. But it is very the series follows Philip, who is a good boy who by mistake ended up going to hell because the devil himself is dying. Lucifer is dying, and so Lucifer needs to train someone else to take his position once he's gone. And so Philip is the one to do that, but he's a good boy, so it's a bit of a challenge actually getting Philip introduced to devilish acts and stuff. And it's a really fun story where you combine a lot of different myths and legends from the Christian religions. And yeah, I think you should all try and check it out because it's definitely worth the read, and he has a really interesting humor. It's a little dark at times, but he definitely makes you think and ponder when you're reading it, and I can't wait to read about this one. That is the first one. So my theme for this library haul is actually Denmark. Danish fantasies, I think. I think they're all fantasies. Let's go with the next one. This is also a reoccurring book series on my channel, and that is Valhalla Collected Saga Volume 4. So this is the Volume 10, 11 and 12 and the corresponding myths. And as usual, it features the very old school type comic styles that I love. Info about the myth and the drawing processes and all of that. That's a picture of Thor's hammer and a picture of, I think, who is that? Jesper Icing. I don't know who he is. Maybe I'll find out. Maybe it's a new drawer for the comics. Oh, here is some extra stuff, and I just love that this has all of these extra things in it, and that's why I read these collected editions, because they're a lot more fun and you get a lot more out of them, because the comics themselves are only like 50 pages long, and yeah, I love them. Coffee for the soul. I love coffee. Especially this type of coffee. This is my salty caramel latte, and it's really good, and this is the brand. I think he's independent. It's only like him. There's no one else. And he knows me. It's kind of weird. I have 4 more books. They're all Danish fantasies, and the way that I found these books is I have a fellow Dane who is a blogger. Her blog is Sølvhesten med Fantasy, and she is a fantasy reader first and foremost. And for all of the Danish literature in fantasy, the fantasy genre I've read, I have gotten the recommendations from her, except I haven't read a lot of fantasies from Danish authors, but she introduced me to Kenneth, and because of that I have decided I trust all of her opinions. I went and looked for, she has a list of all of her finished series and all of her ongoing series, and then it's been struck out when she's finished them, And I just went and looked for all of the Danish fantasy series on there, and looked at what she thought of them, what her rating was on Goodreads, and looked at whether it could be something that I would be interested in. And so I added a lot of books to my library wish list thing so that I could remember it. And the other day I decided to add a lot of the skinny books so that I can read them quite fast. I hope I'll be able to get through them pretty fast, and I have added quite a different type, quite a mix of things, and both from male and female authors, and some of them I've never heard of before, so we'll see how I like it. The first one is Smertensbarn by Mette Finderup. This is The Green Island, I think. The English title, I would say, is The Hurtful Child, or something to do with pain. Smerte is pain, and it is a child of pain, or something like that. Gyrith, oh, that is a strange name, lives together with her family, her parents, in a small town in the Viking ages of Denmark. And that's why, actually, one of the reasons why I wanted to read it, because it's a fantasy type thing set in the Viking ages. So it will add probably Norse mythology elements, and I really enjoy that. Every midsummer, you send out the most important virgin from the cities on a spiritual trip to praise the love goddess Freya and secure the future of this city or town. And this year it's Gyrith's time. The trip is completely turns out to going completely wrong, and the goddess Freya casts a terrible curse on her, where Freya will take everything Gyrith has ever loved from her. At the beginning, Gyrith doesn't really care because she has never loved any other man. But when it starts to go for her family members and people she loves that is like family related, it starts being a little bit darker and more difficult for her to get through. So it sounds interesting, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I think it will be an interesting take on the Norse mythology themes. The next one is Transformationsmaskinen, Nikolaj Johansen. This is the transformation, together with a priest, a warrior, an inventor, and thief. The rebel Argon de Belgarde, this is terrible, takes up the fight against the murderous robots who are suddenly terrorizing his city. And the hunt leads them to both dark alleys and big airships. Argon is certain that the soldiers from air is behind all of this, but the truth can prove to be even worse and a lot more frightening. And this is a steampunk adventure about good versus evil machines, and so that is interesting, and it's a really skinny book. I decided to go with a lot of skinny books so I could get through a lot of books. I don't think this is even 200 pages. Oh, it's just over 200 pages, and the font is really large. So I'm thinking I will be able to get through a lot of these books quite fast when I decide to put a focus on them. The next one is the author is one I've heard of a lot of times, but this specific book is one I've never heard of before. I read about it from her blog, and it's a skinny book, and it is Sølvhesten by Lene Kaaberbøl. This is The Silver Horse is the English title, and Lene Kaaberbøl is one of the Danish queens in fantasy, if you will. This was written back in 92, and it is, I think, one of Kirsten's favorite books. The day the Silver Knight from Breda rides in at the courtyard by Theresa's inn. She's everything is turned up and down in Kat's life, and she starts to dream new dreams, both good and evil. Some of those dreams are happening in real time as well, in real life as well. So that is an interesting concept, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's again a really short book, only 145 pages long. The book that I have heard about the most by her is the Shamers Quartet, and I'm gonna get to that one, but this one was short and it sounded interesting, and I'd never heard of it before, so I wanted to start with that one. And the last and final thing is, this is the truth, or the difficult, or no, something about the truth about Thor and Loki. The first part is called The Test, and I think, yeah, Thor and Loki stuff is always fun. And since it's a Danish author, I'm pretty sure it's going to be true to the Norse mythology, which is important to me. And it's filled with illustrations all the way through. So it's going to be a really fast read. That I could read in a couple of hours, I think, when I get to it. And that is another reason why I decided to go with this. So if I like these series, there are multiple other books that I can get to, and I will be introduced to a lot of new Danish authors, and I'm really looking forward to this. So this is my library stack for this time around, and I'm very much looking forward to all of them. We'll see when I get time to finish them or read them all. But I am definitely looking forward to reading them. Definitely let me know in the comments down below whether you've read any of the books. I figure you probably haven't, because a lot of them are in Danish, and I don't have that many Danish followers. But if you have, for instance, for some reason read some of them, then definitely let me know. Yeah. Hopefully a lot of these has been translated, so I can recommend them to you so you can find them. Because translated stuff is important, and libraries are important, and yeah. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye!